nice and comfortable today. I'm gonna put that there. Got the scripts out. Recently I've had some weird things happening mentally and emotionally. Your boy's had a little bit of an existential crisis. It has to happen at least once a year. I've read Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and that helped me with the whole mortality thing, but recently, as it happens every few months, I have the whole mortality question thing. Just one of those things where it feels like you're on a cliff staring into the abyss. It's quite scary. We all have to die. Anyway, another big thing is that in less than 2 months, I will be going home to South Africa. For those of you who don't know, I've been living in the States. I have been earning more money, becoming a better person, and all around just improving my life. Now, why do I bring those two things up? Well, the existential thing scares the shit out of me. And I'll be honest, as a guy who films himself doing self-improvement, it may surprise you to hear a man doing self-improvement admit that I've cried about it. It's terrifying. Also, when it comes to the me going home thing, it's a huge perspective shift, and the person that everyone back home remembers is a very, very different person to who I am now. So, that's also scary. I'm terrified to end up going down the same path that I was when I was last there. I'm not going to. But the things that scare me are me going down the same path, me being under the same influences, me falling down the same rabbit holes that led me to a self-destructive lifestyle. And I've cried about it. Now, if you've been doing the self-improvement thing for any measurable period of time, you'll probably have heard the saying, men don't cry. You've heard it from that one bald dude with the Bugatti, from that one Indian dude from England who has the awesome beard. You've heard it all around. And I agree and disagree with them at the same time. I disagree because obviously crying is a natural response. Crying is a human response to a traumatic event. However, I do agree with them to some extent. I understand that their whole life's core values that make them the men that they are can't be portrayed in 15-second TikToks. I understand that every thought process behind every view that they hold dear can't be explained in great detail in a 5-minute video on YouTube. I understand this. So, where I agree with them is that real men don't cry, with the caveat that real men don't cry and don't do anything about it. If something's happened to you in your life, and it is terrible, it is traumatic, it's horrible. I've had some horrible shit happen to me in my life, and I've done 2 routes in the past. The one route is what all these influencers will say is the beta male route, or a weak men, or whatever they'll describe it as. And I sat in my emotions and I wallowed. I made it everyone else around me's problem. I would find anyone that would lend me an ear, and I would talk them to death about my traumas. I would drink, I would do stupid shit, and I would just waste my life away. That, I believe, is what they mean when they say men who cry are weak. I think they mean men who wallow, men who just sit in their emotion and let it seethe. However, I have the utmost respect for any man who goes through something horrible enough to make a grown man cry and turn his life situation around. I've been through some shit, and I have now learned how to take that emotion, take that negative energy that I had bottling up inside of me, how to put that into you've always seen the example, you've heard of the example of the guy who gets broken up with, skinny guy, fat guy, whoever gets broken up with and goes to gym. There's no wonder that's a stereotype, because that is a positive form of escapism for that man. And I have the utmost respect for anyone who goes from being heartbroken, broken up with, crying on the phone, all of that, oh, I miss her, to going to gym, to improving their life, to improving their habits, to eating healthier. I will never call a man who goes to gym after a breakup weak just because he cried over a girl. I will call him strong for having the power to go to gym after that. You can see the difference that I'm on about. These alpha male influencers, they don't have time in their little 15-second TikToks to explain that they've cried. They've cried through some traumatic shit to become the people that they are now. They have to have cried. Hamza's explained before, he's got a rough past. He's had some family trauma shit. He has cried. Look at where he is now. He took that negative energy and he changed his life for the better. So in my mind, what makes a weak man, and a man who I used to be, is sitting and wallowing in your emotions, crying and not doing anything about it, being the least productive version of yourself in your sorrows, finding anyone that you can, and just talking their ear off about how sad you are. That's not support seeking. That is sympathy seeking. 100%. The man who earns my respect is a man who goes through some shit, cries, bawls his eyes out because that is some life-changing shit that he's gone through, picks himself up, pick yourself up and dust yourself off, go back in the saddle, and uses that energy to become a better version of himself, a stronger version of himself, a more learned version of himself. Any man who can become a better man after a traumatic event deserves all my respect. On that note, I hope the point landed. I love you guys. I'll see you guys soon.